Hello dear creatives, I welcome us to another beautiful tutorial on how to make fascinators. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us how to make another beginner focused and beginner friendly fascinator. I trust that you people found the first video very helpful, and yes, I'm still awaiting your assignments and also your feedbacks. So in today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us how to make a crinoline loop fascinator. We're going to be embellishing with arrow feathers. So I'll be teaching you how to shape your arrow feather flowers, and yes, I'll be teaching you how to create bead clusters. So you see that this particular class, I'm going to be learning how to also do a little of bead millinery, and I'll be working with my copper wire. So for this, you need your copper wire to create your beads clusters. You'll be needing your bead and copper wire. Now the choice of bead is depending on what you want to do. So this is pearl beads. You can also use crystal beads. Just feel free to create anything you want to do. And like I said, I'll be working with arrow feathers, so I'll show us how to shape our arrow feathers and also how to put all of our what's it called, our materials and pieces and parts together. Yes, and I'm also going to be mounting this on an Alice band. And so without wasting much time, let's get straight into it. So the first thing you want to do is to put every other thing aside and grab your crinoline. Now this crinoline, we're going to be shaping it with it. So more like I want to shape my crinoline. This is a 3 inches crinoline, and I also want to shape it into a 1 inch crinoline. And how do I do that? Look at me. I'm going to pick my crinoline, fold half inch in, fold another half inch in, and then I'm going to go straight to my ironing table, sprinkle water on it, and I'm going to iron it. So let me set my ironing table and show you how to do that. So for the measurements required, cut out 55 inches of your crinoline. So here is 55 inches of my crinoline. So now I've set my ironing table. So what do you want to simply do? Pick your crinoline, fold half inch in this way. If probably you are going to be having slight difficulties with maneuvering your crinoline, you can get pins and use your pin to hold it down. So let me get a pin. So with your pin, you just want to fold half inch in this way and use your pin to hold it down. Please take note, half inch. You fold it this way and you pin it down. You fold the second side too this way. Then the next thing you want to do is to what? Get your water. It's water, oh, please take note. It's water. I'm not using stiffener. If I want you to stiffen it, I'm going to let you know. So now you get your water. Once you have folded in this way, you get your water, you sprinkle it on your crinoline. After sprinkling it on your crinoline, you put your iron on minimal heat. Please, emphasis on minimal heat. And then you place it on it. See that it's still opening, don't worry, just keep folding, and as you fold, it's going to stay. Put your iron on minimal heat and you place it in between. While you place it in between, you go again. So you go again, you sprinkle your water, you fold in half inch, you carry your iron, you place it on it. So just keep folding as you go. You fold in this way. When you fold in, you pick your iron, you place it on like so on it gently. So you begin to just iron as you go. So you repeat the same process for the entire of your crinoline. You fold in like so, and then you place your iron. Now, this particular process requires you repeating it multiple times so that your crinoline can eventually take full shape. So just continue to fold, and as you fold, you continue to iron. So I'm going to do this, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to show us the next thing to do. Okay, creatives, now I'm done with my crinoline form alteration. So the next thing you want to do is to pick your needle and thread and then serge this tip. And like I used to tell you, if you're a beginner and you want to serge your tip, probably you're having difficulties with using your needle and thread straight away, it is best that you get your glue. And you just want to open your glue, and the next thing you should do is just put a little of it at the tip, like so. And once you put it on the tip, you use your needle and thread to finish the work. So I'm just going to do this, and then the next thing I'll do is to use my needle and thread like this, bring it together, use my needle and thread, use it to what? Serge it. Now you're doing this process for both sides of your crinoline. Ensure to do this for both sides of the crinoline. So you repeat the same process for both sides of the crinoline, and once you are done, you are now ready to what? Create your crinoline into whatever shape you want. So now that I'm done serging both ends, so the next thing I want to do is to form rounded loops. I want to create 4 layers of rounded loops. So I'll pick my first layer like this. Can you see? Rounded loops. I'll create my second layer, ensuring that the first and second layer there's a form of good height. Can you see the second layer? I'll make the third layer too. Please ensure that there's a good height. When I mean a good height, ensure that the distance between the first, second, and third, they are so much that your whatever you're trying to create will make sense. And then I'll create my fourth loop. So, can you see? Can you see? I'll go over that again. You create your first loop, you pick your crinoline, you create a circle, create the first loop. Can you see? The first loop has to be very small to accommodate other loops. You form another circle. So can you see my second loop? Can you see the second loop? You create the third circle. This is my third loop. Then finally you pick your last crinoline and you put it just right under the first part. So I've created my loops. The next thing you want to do is to go in with your needle and thread again, and then you secure both all ends, open ends together. So I'm going to do this. Tie it very well. After tying it, pass your needle and thread through it again, and then you have just created what rounded loops. So once you are done doing this, you drop your crinoline and grab your other materials and also prepare them. Putting my crinoline aside, now it's time to work with our wire. So now, like I said, this is what copper wire, 0.50 copper wire. And with my copper wire, I want to teach us how to create what bead strands. So you can also use beads to embellish in millinery. So what you want to do is to release your wire like I am doing. And after releasing your wire, you pick the end, just this tip. Put your bead inside. Depending on how long you want your strand to be, that's how long you are going to what? You put it inside and you double it. So depending on how long you want it to be, you fold it in this way, and after folding you begin to twist. So you twist, you just want to twist, you twist till you exhaust the first folded wire. So I'm going to keep twisting. Just ensure that your twists are so compact and tight. If your twist is not tight, your beads will sag. So I'm going to do this, and after doing it, the next thing I'm going to do is what? Cut it out. So I'm going to cut it out here. So can you see? So you create this for as many strands as you want. So I'm going to do another one. So the next thing I'm going to do is just put it in, fold it like I did, and begin to twist. So you can create this as many as you want. For this particular fascinator, I'm going to be using 10 beaded strands. And after creating the 10 beaded strands, I'm going to bring it together and show you people how to form them into a cluster. So now I've created my 10 beaded strands. Now let me say this, you can decide to alternate the height of your beaded strands. You can decide that, oh, I want some to be long and some to be short. So now that I've created my beaded strand, as you can see, I alternated their lengths because I want it to, come out of my, what's it called? I want it to come out of my crinoline this way, as though there's something there, while I use my flower to cover the middle like so. So this is how I want it to be. So I want it to be at the back of my flowers like this. So something that I actually want it to just, alternate. So the next thing to do after creating all your beaded strands is you want to cut out a small part or a small piece of your copper wire still. You just want to cut out a small piece of the copper wire. And you're going to use this one to wrap around all of your, you're going to use it to wrap around like so. Please ensure that whatever you are doing is not so bulky. So you're just going to wrap around like this. Wrap it around, wrap it around. Ensure your wrap is very tight. So you can wrap it around like 10 times, and after that, you're going to leave the rest. Now, the reason why I did this wrap is because, like I said, my beaded strands are coming behind they are coming behind my flower. I want to work with a ready-made flower here, so they are coming behind my flower. It's not as though the beads want to sit individually. You can also decide that I want to arrange my beads. Just feel free to do anything beautifully. And then after doing this, the next thing you want to do is to what? Arrange your beads. You want to arrange your beads like I am doing. So just arrange your beads, create something nice. So now that I have created our beaded strands, the next thing to do is to drop this aside and grab your feather. So you want to grab your feather. Now, this with me here is an arrow feather. Most times they shape it from the market like this for you. But sometimes, because of classes, I tell my vendor to give me the one that has not been shaped because I want to show people how to shape it. So how do you shape your arrow feather? There are different ways you can shape your arrow feather depending on the design you want it to take. Now, look at me. You pick your scissors. You just trim. Unlike your coke feather that you can always, what's the word? Strip. You can't strip this one, no. This one is very strong. The way they did it is very strong. So you're going to trim like I am doing. After trimming, you ensure that your trim is the same on the opposite ends of your feather. So I'm going to trim it again. Trim the second side. Ensure that your trim is the same for the opposite ends. After trimming, the next thing you want to do is to now shape your feather. So the first thing you want to do is to trim. I didn't say strip. Please take note of all the terminologies I'm using. Trim. After trimming, the next thing is to shape. So now there are different methods you can shape your arrow feather, but look at me. Obviously, you know the shape of an arrow. You just want to cut it in like so. Can you see? You do the same thing for the other side. You cut out the arrow shape. So can you see? Now, if it is not so blended, you blend it in again. Just create something pretty. Do something nice. Now, this side that we cut, you're not going to leave it like this because obviously it's not neat. So what do you want to do? You grab your blade. It's blade you're going to use to finish that work. So you're going to use your blade to finish it. So now that I've cut my arrow feather, the next thing to do is to grab my blade and use my blade to shape it. So here is my blade. The next thing I want to do is to use it to shape it. You have to do this so that your arrow feather will be neat. If not, it will not be neat. You just want to shape, 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 shape. But when you are using your blade here, you have to be very careful so that it doesn't scrape this side of your feather. So I'm going to use my blade now. I'm going to keep doing this until I achieve a very neat feather stalk. It's time to assemble every part and piece together. So now it's time to assemble every part and piece together. So now, the first thing you want to grab is your crinoline. I remember that in the last class, I taught us the placement of our fascinator on our Alice band and how to get it. Remember I said you must divide your Alice band into two and away from the midpoint. Into two gives you your midpoint. Away from the midpoint, you mark your 2 inches. So now you grab your crinoline and on that 2-inch spot, you want to do this. So you pass your needle and thread from your crinoline, from your Alice band rather. You pull it out. So ensuring that your crinoline is right on the spot. So you just want to tie it round. Ensure your crinoline is right on spot. You tie it round. So can you see so? Let me place it right here. So can you see so? So now you pass it again. Once you see that your crinoline has been firmly secured. And this method too, you can first of all use your glue. I'm sorry. Most times when I work, I don't work with my hand most times all through. So you can first of all use your glue. So probably if you know that you cannot handle it the way I did here, please first of all go in with your glue. Now, I've firmly secured my crinoline down. The next thing I want my arrow feather to come out this way. So can you see it? I want my arrow feather to sit this way, but for my arrow feather, you know I can't sew. So you pick your UHU glue and you apply it on it. So here's my UHU glue. I want this to sit up like so. So this is my arrow feather and I want my arrow feather to stand this way out. Can you see? I want it to stand this way out, meaning I want a bit of the tail to show at the back. So this is where I'm going to be placing it, just at this exact spot. I'm going to put my UHU glue there at this spot, right? So I'll put my glue. This part, you can use your hot glue. So you want to do this part, you can use your hot glue. But ensure that your hot glue is not much and it doesn't stain your work. Yes. The reason why I'm emphasizing the kind of glue you use is because there are some parts of your work, if you're not careful, when they wear the fascinator once, they will call your name a bad one because they will say what you did there was wrong. So look at, this is the part I want to sit on it, while I want from here to here to show outside. Or let me teach us how to measure it. So I want about 3 inches of my tail to show outside. So this is about 3 inches. So this is where I want to stay outside and this is where I want to stay up like so. So you mark 3 inches. I have a chalk that will not show on it. This is our needle to create it. I want 3 inches of the tail of my stalk to show outside. So you mark your 3 inches. So where that 3 inches stops, that's where you're going to place on your crinoline like so. You're going to place it on it like so. You press it down. Oh, please ensure to press it down. Press it down. Had it been your hand can work, you can sew this to it. I'll have said so, but it's not possible to sew it to it. But then it is still possible to use your needle and thread to go over it and still tie it. And that's what I'm going to do now. It's possible to use your needle and thread to go over it to tie it. So I did not cut my thread, if you notice. I'm just going to continue to use my thread to tie my arrow feather to my I'll use my thread to tie my arrow feather to my crinoline and my Alice band. So I'm just going to use it to tie it. Like I used to say, this is to ensure a firm securing of your work. So I'm going to just use it to tie it to it. And once I see that it is now standing on its own and it is not moving up and down, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out my what thread. So I'm going to do this and show us the next thing to do. Right now, I'm done attaching my arrow feather to my crinoline. Now the next thing I want to do is to put this up this direction. I want this to sit up here, and after using this, my flower will now come this way. So can you see? I want this to sit up here. So now the question is, can we also sew this? Well, the answer is no, except if you just want to pass your needle and thread through it little by little. But what's the next step? So you also put your UHU glue here. You place it at the position. Now, a guide for you, you want this to sprout out this way in the direction of your arrow feather. So that's how you're going to place it. I'm just going to put my UHU glue, apply a little bit at the tip. UHU glue. I know the reason why I'm emphasizing on the glue you use, please. The smallest UHU glue now, original and authentic, is 1.5. So you don't have an excuse to say I cannot afford the big one that is 5,000. Buy the small one. Buy the small one is for the usefulness of your work and for at least to make your work stand out. So when this one is already solidified, you place it here like this. You press it down. Emphasis, it has to get solidified. Once it's pressed down, you use your needle and thread as usual. You go over it. If you notice, all the while I did not cut out my thread. Yes, I didn't cut out the thread though. So you're advised not to cut out your thread. If you can use one single thread to work all through, please use it. I'm going to use my thread to ensure that it's firmly secured down. After securing it down, I can now reposition it the way I want. So after doing all of that, I'll keep doing this. Then when I'm done, the next thing is to use our flower to cover whatever open parts that we have. And that is that about the beauty of the fascinator. Now look at this part that is open. You can't leave it there like so, right? So the best thing for you to do is to grab your what's it called, your bias or your ribbon, and you want to use it to cover it. So you can use your bias or ribbon to cover. And if you feel like, oh, I want to use my ribbon to cover my Alice band, it's still another beautiful thing. So you can go and use your ribbon to cover your Alice band. This is off-white, so I'm not going to be using this color. I'm going to get this cream. I have it somewhere. So you're going to wrap around it, and after wrapping around it, the next thing you want to do is to use your flower, your ready-made flower. Now you can say that, oh, I don't want my flower to be this big. It's your choice, but just do something so beautiful. And as it is too, you can put more beads. You can fill everywhere up with your beads. You can put the beads left and right, up and down. Just do something nice, and you then cover with your flower. And obviously, you know, when you want to cover with your flower, you want to simply do is to pick your UHU or whatever glue you want to use, put it here and use it to cover your fascinator, and that makes your fascinator ready. So I'm going to do all of that I just mentioned and then show us the finished look of our fascinator. Okay, so dear creatives, this is what the finished look of our fascinator looks like. Can you see how beautiful and very, very good looking it is? So go